I don't even know if you can see us yet. Oh, look at Blair. He's actually got coffee. Like on a statistical basis, about 20% of our guests actually drink coffee.
Really?
Yeah.
Sacrilege. It's called Friday Coffee.
True. But it's more like the concept of having coffee in the morning than anything else. Everyone has their ritual, I'm sure, right?
Doing pirouettes inside of my snow globe.
Well, that's good stuff too.
What you got over there? Some special proprietary brew?
Yeah. My special blend.
Got your special blend?
It was Moose Drool and Harmony Decaf, right? You blend them
That's right,
together,
man.
so it's not full.
Hunter Bay. This old man can't do the full strength.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Heart starts beating out of whack.
You get some heart palpitations.
I just can't drink as much of it.
Right. So I would say you drink coffee throughout the course of the day, or is it just kind of a morning thing for you?
It's a morning thing. Yeah, it's a morning thing. Every once in a while, I'll brew a drip decaf in the afternoon.
There you go. Good morning, everyone. Are we actually live now? I think we're live. We are live.
We've probably been live since you hit the live button.
Oh, I guess
This is live for a minute 30.
Whoops. There we go. I'm not. There we go. All right. Welcome, everyone, to another rendition of Friday Coffee. This time with our special guest, Blair Parkhill. Welcome, Blair. A little bit of clips in the background there. Go listen to that album immediately. There we go. Now we'll go to chatting. And we did a smooth transition. Very
Nice.
smooth.
It was.
Here with my co-host, Nick Burton, as always. Blair, introduce yourself to our audience if they're not aware of who you might be.
Yo, people. I'm Blair. Blair Parkhill. I'm engineer at heart. Been around the tech community for quite a while. I've started my career at Compact Computers. You guys didn't notice a little fuzz down here at the bottom. We did talk about family a little bit, and so we got a new member.
Yeah, guests are encouraged to involve their family members in the stream. It's just
Right?
unique.
Look at this little guy, Beckett.
Beckett?
That's Beckett.
Yeah.
So
He's not going to get much bigger than that, or
no, not much. He's a little guy, aren't you? But yeah, I've been doing tech stuff for. Oh, we got another one.
He's sleeping.
Yeah,
Yeah. He hasn't had his morning coffee yet. He's
Brian will be getting a dog soon too, I'm sure. With
Yep.
all the
Please
kids
no.
going, Daddy, I want a dog.
I guess like from in that perspective, like it doesn't tug at my heartstrings or anything like that. Like I'm just like, no, I know the responsibilities associated with dog ownership, and I'm not ready for that.
Right. No, I hear you, man. But back on the intro, I started at Compact Computers as a packaging engineer and just got so invested in tech that went straight from that to systems engineering. 1998.
and to be clear, we're not talking application packaging.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah, we're talking boxes and foam. So we could definitely talk about that. But yeah, I went from that into systems engineering. I've been putting computer parts together, building racks ever since '98, and now we're in the world of VDI and still love the system engineering stuff. But along the way, it's taken some turns and different kind of weird forks in the road that definitely can talk about too.
So in that vein, like, is it the year VDI now, Blair?
It's always the year of VDI. Everybody wants to do remote desktops and stuff like that. So, yeah, I guess, yeah, my answer to that is always the year of VDI. It's just how it happens.
Yeah, but I think I guess the insider bit is like people were looking for some like clear, distinct inflection point that I'm not sure necessarily ever.
Yeah,
happened.
Well,
it's kind of
totally. I remember talking to Gartner like 12 years ago, or maybe it was like 10 years ago, and they were like, VDI will never be popular until it's easy, right? And I was like, okay, I don't see VDI ever getting easy, at least that long ago. Now you look at where things have gone, and if you consider Windows 365 easy, maybe we've gotten there, right? So, yeah, that's the kind of stuff that I think kind of contributes to the year of VDI kind of stuff.
It's all relative to a degree, right? Like what is considered difficult now maybe wasn't considered, maybe was considered impossible before.
Yep. Yeah.
And it always changes, right? We'll look back on this moment in 20 years from now and say, like, what the hell are we doing? You just literally, you just think it in your head, and then whatever you think just manifests itself in front of you.
Yep.
You don't even have to think about the underlying technology. Why would you?
Right.
Who wants to? Well, maybe some.
Yeah. Well, +1 for brain implants, right?
Yeah, that's kind of barbaric, isn't it? Can't they just like inject us with some nanobots or something that like modify our DNA to create like some sort of radio frequency that we all operate at? Just kind of,
I'm sure we'll get there.
You know what we should do when we go into work? We should completely forget about our personal life, and then vice versa when we go home. You know,
severance. Severance. Yes,
that was that is a great show.
That was wild.
Yep.
Is there another season of it eventually?
There will be. Yep. I think they've already confirmed it. Yep.
I don't have Apple TV. It's like my one streaming service that I don't own at this point in time. So I have to like borrow some time, like if I'm on vacation or flying or whatever, and like piece together the episodes. Is that weird?
Two good times to activate it is whenever a new season of Severance comes out and a new season of Shrinking comes out, because that is also an excellent TV series.
Yeah.
Those are my two top ones.
So Blair, like, what are you up to from a technology perspective these days? Would you say, like, what's your primary?
So
like, what's the coolest thing that you're dealing with right now?
Yeah, I mean, I think the Hydra stuff is the coolest thing on my plate right now. I mean, being able to play with all the vendors in the VDI space is certainly a wonderful place to be. You get to see everybody's new technology and that kind of stuff. But Hydra is something I just got asked to product manage. So I'm kind of managing that one. Brand new product to us. I remember the day we announced that we had acquired it, right? A lot of the executives and folks that did the initial kind of research on it, I hadn't been a part of that crew. So now that when we announced it internally, I was like, oh man, that sounds like so much fun. I'm going to put him out real quick.
Just throw him out.
No. Yeah.
Like, that's the benefit of a small dog. You can just kind of throw him around ultimately at the end of the day. Yep. Right, exactly.
He's gone. He's gone.
He has like an airbag or something. Just disclaiming, we're not advocating for
any animal throwing.
Yeah, you're in a public forum. You gotta have those disclaimers. But, yeah, I remember thinking when we had made the announcement that we acquired it, like, man, I'm working on all this cool VDI stuff and doing a lot of the vendor stuff, but this Hydra thing is kind of enticing. I want a piece of that, I remember just kind of Nick had put something together for us, and I immediately started adding my labs to it and started playing with it right away. And so when I was asked to do the product manager for it, I was like, okay, this is cool. So anything having to do with AVD, as you guys know, I've been playing with a lot of testing, working with Microsoft a lot on that one. So it was a joy to get assigned that one.
I have a question in regards to that, because I'm kind of out of the game these days. I'm like on the cybersecurity side. So if you want to talk about like some security data pipeline, I'm happy to entertain you there. But like, what are we talking about from a market share perspective? Yeah. Like a market share perspective for like Microsoft hosting the user's workload on either desktops or published apps. Are they like 20% of the market now, or like?
I don't even know. I just know that I hear it in every new opportunity.
Yep.
And I'm on Citrix, or I'm continuing to use Citrix. I'm moving over to Azure, or we're just gonna straight go to Azure Virtual Desktop. Windows 365. I've seen giant financial institutions just completely jump over AVD and go straight to Windows 365. So it's the market share is growing. There's no doubt about it. That's one thing I do know for certain.
Yeah, vast majority. It seems like it's like we're either migrating from one platform, over to ABD, or we're just sending more stuff to Azure in general. So we're going to spin up virtual desktops while we do it, and it just makes sense to have like you said, either ABD or Windows 365 Cloud PC at that point. So
I mean, who doesn't have like an E3 or an E5 license, right? And if they're doing Office in Microsoft 365, it's so easy to go into ABD and Windows 365 that that it's just, I don't know, it's too easy to move.
So I have maybe a controversial question, if you will, because we've had quite a couple of Citrix folks, and we'll continue to have one. We have some big names in Citrix coming on the show. Stay tuned, everybody. But is that bad for business for them?
I suppose it could be in a way, but I'm also seeing them continue to use Citrix while they kind of adopt the back end of ABD. So they're kind of using it as a new infrastructure. So, it doesn't necessarily mean you have to ditch Citrix to be able to take advantage of ABD. So yeah, I think some will kind of move away and some won't. And, Citrix hasn't made it completely easy for a lot of the smaller customers too, with some of the licensing things that have changed and the attention that customers get and the community that they kind of foster. It definitely has been kind of impacted, at least from what I've seen, right? And no CUCGs anymore. We have to kind of start our own. I don't know. It comes with some repercussions, I'd say.
Yeah, and like you said, it's just, Microsoft, the way they're pushing multi-session out, I think Server OS multi-session it's already becoming a thing of the past at this point, and the only way to move forward in the multi-session world is to go Azure, whether that be out in the cloud or using Azure Local at that point. So, yeah, so we're all
they call it
just
Azure Local now?
I went from Azure Stack HCI to Azure Local, which makes way more sense. Yep. But yeah, just continuing to ride the waves of Microsoft like usual, and whatever they say goes. Microsoft giveth, Microsoft taketh away. So
hey, I've seen them kind of change the world in a big way that we said, nah, not going to happen, right? If you guys remember Exchange, you guys might be too young to really remember Exchange.
I do.
Just kidding.
I remember it. This is all gray. This is not black anymore.
I used to be an Exchange admin.
Yeah, I hear you. Exchange was something that we had installed locally. We had big SAN, deployments and things like that, where we said you have to have fast disk, and you have all these different layers of Exchange as you're delivering to your end users. And Microsoft came in and said, okay, first thing we're going to do is we're going to use large, very slow disk for a high performance mail system and collaboration system. And we were like, no way, it's right now, it's fiber channel, it's, the fastest spinners you can get. No way that's going to happen. And of course they made it happen. And then right after that, they're like, well, you know what, we'll take on all the infrastructure for that. And how many people run Exchange on-prem anymore? The same thing's happening with VDI.
Yep.
And if Microsoft sets their sights on something, they're going to do it. And so I've been through it once. I know it's going to happen again.
Yep.
So we think eventually Microsoft occupies nearly, let's say, 70% of the market share in that realm of virtual desktops and published apps. Even it sounds like
one day. It's not there yet, but yeah,
it'll take some time.
Yeah.
But the other thing is, like, who's building desktop apps anymore?
Right. That's a big VDI killer for sure. Yep.
Maybe as far as like there's some sort of like add-on as a desktop app for the SaaS-based service, but I just don't see people coming out with like, check out the new Adobe Reader 27. Like,
yep.
they're not doing it anymore.
Yeah. And if they are, they're building it on top of a framework that's portable, like Epic with their hyperdrive stuff, that's built on top of Chromium, and you can easily port it between different platforms and stuff like that. So, yeah, for sure. But yeah, so Blair, so you started off before you got into your first systems engineering position. I think you were an intern for Kraft Foods, starting on the packaging front again, and this is not application packaging, which then you transitioned over and packaging for, you said, was it Compact?
Yeah.
So.
Yep.
And then you got your first system engineer job from that. So tell us a little bit about that little adventure and what got you from packaging up servers and hardware to actually your first sys engineer role.
Yeah, that was a wild thing. That's my degree is actually in packaging engineering.
Yep.
It's kind of a science and art kind of combined technology. And there were only two schools offering it at the time, Michigan State University and Rochester Institute of Technology, my alma mater. And so, yeah, I went from an electrical engineer at West Virginia University because I knew like electronics was my thing. I love taking it apart, putting it back together and kind of discovering. But 2 years of that and, doing a 3-page math equation on the intervals of windshield wipers was just boring to me.
Yep.
I didn't care about all that math, and I wanted to apply my hands against the technology a little more. And so packaging seemed like, it's easy to find a job. I think 95% hire rate out of school.
Wow.
Creative and also scientific. And I was like, this is it. I want to try this. And so I got my degree in that. And so, yeah, intern at RIT is something that all students got to go through. And so I got to spend 6 months doing that for Kraft. I mean, I'd fly to their plants, look at how their extrusion systems for their plastics. You remember the Cool Burst? You pop the top off the Kool-Aid, the plastic container, and you squeeze it.
Oh, yeah.
So that was one of my products. Their no-bake cheesecake, the cereal. It was fun, man. Lots of food for a hungry guy, but it was kind of like the fast lane to getting a good job right out of school, and it seemed like it was a lot of fun. So, yep, I graduated with honors on that one, and then went to Compaq, where I combined my two passions, right? Hands-on, kind of creative, the packaging, cushions. I was taking $80,000 servers and building a packaging system for them that we had to drop 18 times. And then we got to put it on a vibration table and make sure it could go through transit without. And the PCAs, if you see when they hit their resonant frequency, the circuit boards will actually look like this.
Flex, yeah.
Yeah, it was crazy. So it was a lot of fun. It got a little redundant after a while, but my goal was to save that server from mass destruction so that I could go play with it afterwards, right? So I was playing with it,
It survives, yeah, you get to keep it.
Yes, right. So monitors too. So yeah, the design, I even had I think I got even a patent on one of the hard disk molding cushions for the hard disks at HP. It was fun, but the guys that I would work with, they saw my interest in the gear and said, we're spinning up this new solution. It's called Enterprise Backup Solutions, and it uses fiber channel technology. It uses Unix and Windows, and you back up to tape libraries. And so you can imagine, like, I'm seeing labs with racks of servers, giant tape libraries with robotic arms that pull tapes out, put them in, move them around, right? Yep. It was just like, it was awesome. So I was doing Solaris, True 64 Unix, Windows. It was just like all the cool toys you could ever want. So that's where I got my first systems engineer, going straight from packaging engineering straight into systems engineering.
I was going to ask, had you had any transitionary period before that? Did you at least play with any of that technology prior, or you just jumped straight into it?
Fiber channel was completely new to me. So was Unix. So I took a Solaris class. That was my first assignment. Go learn Solaris Unix. And that was awesome. And then fiber channel in Georgetown, Texas, right up the street from Dell. IBM was kind of they were kind of the folks that had kind of developed and were also doing a lot of training. And it was the coolest name of the labs where we learned it was called Medusa Labs. So you get fiber channel analyzers, protocol analyzers. You could rip open fiber channel protocol, look at the SCSI inside, and that was just like, that was so much fun. So yeah,
Wow.
that was head first dive into deep technology and performance and and systems engineering really. So that
Yeah.
was the
So
start.
I have a question about all of this in relation. We'll do like a disclaimer whenever AI comes up or whatever. Like, how does a package science school like even exist in this day and age? Like, are there enough people that are interested in it to go and have a need for a formalized education around it, right? And then like
Absolutely.
with the
Yeah.
scalability of things, like I think, or I could foresee a world where there was like one designated package scientist that runs or manages package science for everyone via some fractional cost because you can leverage artificial intelligence. Like, what does that mean? Does the only degree that exists in the future become one where it's just learning how to use AI and then you kind of figure it out, branch out from there? Like, what does that look like?
With anything, AI is just a tool, right? It's not something that can kind of run on its own. So there are two things to AI that we all have to kind of be good at. One is prompting, knowing what to ask AI. AI doesn't ask itself, and it's typically trained on something specific. And then the other thing is you got to validate or verify what it's saying is true. So if you apply it to something like packaging, yeah, I want a box for this thing, and I need to get 100 of them on a pallet, and they need to be able to be protected from an 18-inch drop. So it can calculate based on the foam, probably all the spring constants and all that stuff that you need to know to have a pretty good idea that it's a good, so you could save yourself from doing all that work, but you still need to verify that what it developed is good enough, that it does fit. So we'll always need people like that in the world of AI, I believe.
Yeah, but we need.
So
I guess that's what the point is. We need far less of them
yep.
ultimately, and also I
Or
think
yeah.
that it's tough to say that the AI won't make its own decisions at some point in time, that it needs us. Like, we're literally, like, if you talk about in the evolution of things, AI is like what, 4 years old now, really,
Yeah.
at this stage. And like, look at all the ways that it's evolved, right? Like,
Oh yeah.
massive companies are deciding that they don't need as many heads to perform the same level of output
Yeah.
now.
That's right. That's right. That's a very disruptive technology, but for everybody that loses a job here, I think somebody will find it there
Right.
somewhere else. Yeah.
I think it interestingly, it frees us up to pursue what's really interesting to us, because it can
Absolutely.
help you monetize it for an example. But I think everyone needs to become experts at it
Yeah,
yesterday.
absolutely. And you know who will become experts at it much faster than geezers like me, or kind of the next generation, right? So you're already seeing like Gen Z taking advantage of this stuff. And my wife is an example. She's a solo entrepreneur, right? She runs a skincare practice, and she uses AI all the time to help her with the marketing campaigns, all the content that she needs, ideas on formulations. I mean, seeing her use it gives me chills, because I'm like, man, like the way that you're using that is exactly what it was designed for. And you're doing something alone that most people couldn't do with a team of like five or something like that. So
Yeah,
it is
that's the
super
thing,
cool.
right? Exactly. It levels the playing ground.
Hmm. Hmm.
She could punch above her weight, you know,
Exactly.
because now
Yep.
she doesn't have to hire a graphic designer to design her.
Exactly.
She doesn't need somebody to do a website for her. She doesn't need someone to
It-
build an
Totally.
application to run the business. She could have the artificial intelligence do it. Yeah, your
Yep.
limitation is your creativity. And
Right.
to that point, like, think about kids nowadays that are just growing up with it natively.
Yeah, right. You got Ohm's law for technology, right? But what about humans? Like, I no longer have to go through all of my search results to find the answer that I was looking for, the one that teaches me the fastest. I now get like an AI search result that basically compiles it all together, gives me links to them, references. But I mean, I can pretty much get the best answer right away, And if you're using kind of audio assist with some of that stuff, you could just say, hey, chat, what's the answer to this? And if kids are doing that versus in my day when we were thumbing through in paper-based encyclopedias,
Mm-hmm.
imagine how quick we learn too as a species. It's kind of cool as well.
Yeah, as with anything, there's kind of a double-edged sword, because I was thinking about this in reference to my kids. It's like, how much do I let them use it? How much do I encourage them to use it? How much do I teach them about how to use it based on like what my understanding is? And then a couple weeks ago, some MIT study came out saying that the use of artificial intelligence fundamentally changes or maybe even degrades the human's ability to critically think on their own. So then it's just like, well, like, do I teach them to critically think on their own outside of the artificial intelligence, or limit their interaction with it so that they do develop those skills on their own? It's just, what a world to live in.
Yeah.
These kind of questions that need to be answered.
You're totally right, Brian.
So switching gears a little bit, Blair, I know that after the compact venture and everything that you did on the sys engineering side, you obviously got into more technical marketing, product management. What kind of made you make that jump? I think it was XIO where you kind of first dipped your toes on that side. So
I was technical marketing was my favorite. That was where I got to take technology, put it all together, and then tell people about it. Right. At HP, that's what I did, and that's how I knew Exchange, because my job was to slam together a bunch of systems and kind of build the best Exchange system, and then tell. We'd travel all around the world. I remember in Nice, in France. Going out there to speak to a bunch of people from Europe to tell them this is how you put together Exchange and optimize it. That was the best, right? So I left HP and went to Xiotech XIO, and did the same thing at tech marketing. And so this is one thing that on a personal level, we all need to, I think, do a better job of. Not all of us, but I didn't really know where my passion, I didn't really identify like, hey, Blair loves doing this. This is where he needs to focus. And I would kind of try to please others by saying, hey, if you want me to try this new thing for you, I will, instead of saying, nah, that's outside of my wheelhouse, right? At XIO, I said, I'll do vice president of marketing. So you take like a master systems engineer and make him kind of VP of marketing, and you've gone from this technical marketing thing to this pure marketing thing. And dude, panic attacks, anxiety out the wazoo, all the bad stuff happens when you kind of people please, for one, right? Because my CEO, he was like, hey, we want you to lead marketing. And I was like, can you let me think about it? And he like got up out of his chair and like ran over to the marketing department and said, oh, hold the press release where we already told everybody he'd do
boy.
it. I'm like, all right, I'll give it a shot for a little bit, right? And that was the worst decision I'd ever made. I mean, make it for me, making the kind of cash that a vice president makes just wasn't for me. I'm somebody that likes a good work-life balance. That crushed work-life balance, it put a lot of pressure on me to manage people in a way, or even be kind of the heartbeat of the company in a way, right? Too much for me. As a systems engineer, as a dude who's engineer at heart, that took me out of what I'm good at and put me into something that I just had no grasp of. So kind of word to the wise: know what you're good at, know what you love, set up boundaries. Don't do something somebody asks you to do just because it comes with a lot of money, if it's outside of what you love. So that's kind of lesson.
But you tried it at the end of the day. You at least gave it a
did,
shot. Yeah.
and I learned a lot. The funny part was I got laid off from that one because they knew how much I didn't really love it, and the company, was kind of going through fluctuations.
Sure.
They hired me back as a consultant, like 5 days after I got laid off.
So it's an interesting concept, right? Like, you needed to try it out to truly.
You're
know.
right.
So that's the thing. You have to try things, and what I've learned is sometimes the things that I don't expect that I'm gonna like, I end up liking a lot. So
Yeah, the
100%,
reverse can
Brian.
definitely happen. Yep.
Yep.
But the point is a salient one, Blair, which is like listen to your body.
Yep.
If you're stressed out, if you're not having a good time, like it's not going to get better for you. Probably.
Yep.
Totally.
It's going to get worse.
Yeah, we've all been there, especially in IT.
Yeah, right.
Believe it or not, we just steamed through 30
Yeah,
minutes. Like that.
60 seconds left.
That's the way it goes. 60 seconds
Too
left.
much
We gotta
fun.
ask you our proprietary question, and then we'll wrap up with
Yep,
that.
I already warned him what this would be. So Blair, if you had to pick one person to be on the show with us, who would it be?
Wow. I didn't get enough time to put a lot of thought into that, but I can tell you one guy that I absolutely enjoy working with here at Login VSI, and even before, was Lee Jeffries. That dude is amazing as a person, as a family guy, as a carpenter kind of creator. So yeah, Lee is somebody I definitely get on, but he's going to love talking about Citrix and stuff like that. But ask him about his other passions.
Sure.
Like ask him about his little Sprinter van that he's kind of making over.
Oh, is he doing one up right now? Oh, nice. Cool.
Yep.
We'll tell him to bring pictures.
Yeah, do it.
I think it's a great suggestion. I know Lee. I currently even interact with him from time to time, so I don't think that's too far of a stretch for us.
I think we can get one here.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So,
all right.
Well, thanks for having me on, guys. This has been freaking amazing. I wish this could be like a 2-hour-long podcast or conversation, but
we'll get you
on
here again.
Yeah, but you know what?
I finished my coffee.
If it were 2 hours, it would fundamentally change the nature of it as well.
It would.
Yep.
It would. Bite-sized fun.
Yep. Human attention spans nowadays.
Brian, it was good to see you, man.
2 hours.
Heck yeah, man. We'll have to catch up at some other time rather than in a live session. We're going to go ahead and end it. Thank you so much, everyone, as always, and we'll see you next time. We got a really good guest for you. Maybe I'll give a little hint. It's Benny Trish, so make sure you tune in.
Yeah, Dr. B.
I'm going to end the stream now.